Yolanda Toussieng, and she doesn't sing yet, but give her a round of applause. Handled my gorgeous hair. Super cuts. And of course we have LaPorte, who did makeup and the teeth, and my gorgeous choppers. That's the bonus. Let's have a round of applause, everybody. We had a great conversation. We're going to go in. Look at Neill, ladies and gentlemen. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big did you think this movie was going to be from 1 to 10? Like when you were filming it, where you were like, this is stupid, or was this like
-5?
Yeah, -5. All right.
I'm into monster stuff, so to me, I was like, this is going to be fun. I don't know how well it's going to be received.
Yeah, I mean, we always thought it was going to be fun, but we thought, God, who's going to see this movie?
When we shot the Deo scene, I came into the makeup trailer, oh, this movie's gonna suck. Because I didn't think that scene, when you're shooting it, unedited, I go, this is fucking stupid. There's a scene in there where there's a makeup test on camera. It's a scene where you're smoking a cigarette and let's take the...
Oh yeah, he flicks it.
He flicks it, his hairline is lower, the makeup doesn't go down on his neck. I remember one of the first scenes was the Cal Worthington commercial.
Oh,
Cowboy hat.
I'll chew on a dog!
That was the first time he really played with the crew, and we were cracking up. I mean, he was just, that was all ad-lib. He was just making that stuff up.
Like, Ortho's character probably should have been a wig. He had short, brown hair. We had to straighten it, which is very damaging, dye it black, then iron flatten it every day. And actors don't usually let you do that much to their hair. It's because of the damaging, but everybody loved working with Tim. He was so excited at the beginning.
Yeah.
He was there every day with our characters and, you know, wanted to do her hair red, do his hair black, and it just doesn't work that way. You usually have to take a long time to make the wigs and figure that out. So it was exciting to work with Tim. He would do a little doodle right when he was talking to you, which he put things on paper, and then we had to make them come alive.
But everything he would draw would be a little wonky, a little this and that. So it doesn't work that way in the real world. The carousel hat was originally going to be red and white, like a circus tent. Like there was this whole sort of circus theme to it, and then he decided to make it black and white, like the iconic suit, of which the iconic black and white suit was custom made, but the fabric was just heavy cotton awning material that they went and bought. Canvas. And then they rinsed it through a greenish gray dye. So what you see on camera looks black and white, but it's not. I'm not being given any sort of mechanical drawings or anything. I have to design the mechanisms all by itself. And being a big Disneyland fan, I went down to the park to go look at the real carousels and how they work. And so I used that as a study of how to build the carousel hat. To keep the carousel hat up on his head, I took a piece of about 1/4 inch thick or less aluminum bar stock. I heated it up and we bent it into the shape of the profile of the back of his head. And then the base of that is bolted to a backpack frame. And then the upper portion went up and was bolted to the carousel. The graveyard scene was originally scripted to be quite different. There was originally a character that Mike and I worked on that was originally, we called him, they didn't have an official name, we called him Kissy Face, because he had these giant Mick Jagger-like lips and big round bulbous eyes. When the Maitlands dig up Beetlejuice and he comes flying up out of the grave, that was originally supposed to be our puppet. He was rigged with his arms like this, and as he would come out, he'd be spring-loaded, so he would throw his arms out wide. He was to fly down, grab Gina Davis' character, kiss her, and then the other character, would knock it off and stomp on it, and then suddenly you hear laughter, and they turn around and see that Beetlejuice is up in this tree, and he's got all these wires that he was puppeting. The reason he decided to cut the scene and just say, we'll use, you know, him up on the wires.
You know, there's a funny thing about practical effects, you know, cutting corners. There's a scene where when Barbara and Adam are trying to scare them out of the house. When they're first walking to the house and you walk in and she's standing there with a knife and holding Alec Baldwin's head.
Yep.
The way they did that is they took a piece of cardboard and they cut a loop in it. And Adam, you know, Alec is on the floor with a neck piece that hangs over and he just tucks his head over this piece of brown cardboard.
So it looks like the desk, and Juno arrives and she's smoking.
Sylvia Sidney.
Yeah, and then she smokes and the smoke comes blowing up out of her neck. That was an appliance that we made, and there's a
I
tube.
remember the tube, and you put real cigarettes in it.
We had somebody there on set, all he did was, exactly, he was blowing smoke up this tube. It's such an old school effect.
Were you there in the trailer the day she was talking about why she got the job?
No.
Just she said to me one day, she goes, you know, Vicky, she goes, the only reason I got this job is because I'm the only old broad that still smokes.
Those creatures in the waiting room were effect pieces that we built, and then they took them to set and they'd get sweetened up and touched up by your people. Like the girl who's cut in half, that's 2 people.
Miss Argentina.
Originally, that scene was written, she was gonna, because we made arms, fake arms for her for that scene where she was gonna raise up her arms, and instead of saying, if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have had my little accident, and then the hands were gonna separate from the forearms and completely turn backwards.
You mean Flatman?
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite characters.
I did the main body and the animatronic head for when he does go into the slot. That was a sketch by Tim, which was, I had finished him completely. He was all sculpted out, all the car tracks put all over him. And I had finished him, you know, and they're like, oh, he's dead, he's been run over by a car. So I'm thinking, oh, I've worked on a lot of horror movies, I'm just going to do them like I would normally would. And Tim goes, you're going to have to tone that down so much. It's too bloody. I'm like, he's been ran over by a car.
Another case of that is when I did the stretch face for Gina Davis. Originally, the tongue was built so it could do this serpentine thing, and we showed it to him, he was like, oh, that's too much, that's a little too suggestive, it's like too sexy, can we just like, I'd say fine, we'll just do whatever. So we just barely pull on the lever, just make it move just a little bit.